Hello and welcome to Hawaii Snapshot here on civilbeat.com, the show where we use technology to reach out to fascinating people all around the neighbor islands of Hawaii. And today our guest certainly fits that bill of fascinating person. Mike Bond joins us from Molokai. Mike is a foreign correspondent, war correspondent. He's a novelist. I think you even ran for governor once of Montana. Is that right, Mike?
Hi, Joe. No, it's U.S. Senate. I ran for U.S.
Oh,
Senate.
excuse me. So you ran for U.S. Senate, yeah. But you're also obviously a very politically active person, too, and we'll get into that in a minute. First of all, welcome to Hawaii Snapshot. You've just completed a novel, and it's called Saving Paradise. And basically, it's a murder mystery. A journalist is killed, and the backdrop is the politics around Big Wind, the proposed project to bring large-scale wind energy from windmills on Molokai and Lanai with undersea cables to the island of Oahu. Tell me about the main character in the book, Pono.
Well, his name is Pono because that's a nickname given to him. He's a surfer, surfing all his life, grew up on the Big Island where as a kid, you run around barefoot. You run up mountains like Mauna Kea, Mauna Loa, or a hill. After 9/11, he quit marine biology, went into special forces, fought in Afghanistan and Iraq. So this is a guy who's given himself to our country, who cares about our country, cares about Hawaii, and he's a surfer, so he understands the ocean and he understands the tragedy that this cable would be for the ocean in Hawaii. So he's a straight-up, honest, hardworking, courageous guy, kind of typical of a lot of Hawaii surfers and a lot of Hawaiians, and that's why he's the hero.
In the novel, Mike, the character is very strident. He seems kind of prone to conspiracy theories a little bit. Let me read to you from one thing that he said. As they talked, I began to see Big Wind and the cable for what they were, a monstrous war of the worlds, metallic evil stalking these beautiful islands. One more corporate thing to crush the beauty of the world. Is that your character talking? Is that you?
Oh, that's me as well. It's my character and me. Anybody who's fought for our country in Afghanistan, and Afghanistan has been a big part of a big issue in my life. My next book is called Assassins, and it's about Afghanistan and Iraq and the war there. He's going to see the way the world really is.
Well, let me just interrupt you for a second. I mean, I'm glad you said that. I mean, it does come across to me as the story is very sort of good versus evil, and you do bring up Afghanistan and Al Qaeda, and you kind of almost interweave the kind of morals of those groups and the morals of the people who are supporting wind here in Hawaii. Is that a little over the top?
I don't really think so, Joe. If elsewhere in my book, I talk about some of these corporations and what they're actually like and the connections between Enron and these corporations. One of the folks that's active here as a wind producer or wind energy a corporation, their first big project was in Italy, and all their Italian partners are now in jail, and the government has taken over the project. It's a huge mafia project. What we need in Hawaii, and it's an absolute given, is we need rooftop solar on every house in Hawaii and on every building in Hawaii. That's the solution. We're getting to the point now, according to the National Renewable Energy Laboratory, solar is as cheap as coal and gas, including the LNG that we'll be getting from the mainland. And as a consequence, it's insane to build these enormous structures, horrible wind turbines that make people sick and destroy property values and kill birds and bats at an astonishing rate.
Right at the top, you mentioned about the Molokai ranch deal falling apart. What happened there? Why did that fall apart?
The community was so completely united against it, and ILO Molokai was a fantastic group to unite that.
I want to see Molokai as a clean, alternative energy model for the world, but not at the expense of our people, our aina, and our cultural heritage.
We came together, we just developed a massive campaign against it.
Would you see the wind farms, the proposed wind farms from your house?
We're not sure because they never finalized them, but it's quite possible. Even worse than the daytime is the night when you get thousands of red strobe lights flashing on and off, and which of course destroys the night vision. We can see 10,000 stars in Molokai. I mean, we have so few lights.
So why isn't this, I mean, just tell people why this isn't NIMBY. This isn't not in my backyard. You mentioned property values plummeting 70%. Why isn't this because, you don't want your property value plummeting?
You know, the funny thing is the people who are really the NIMBY people are the people who push big wind because they live in fantastic suburbs, very wealthy suburbs somewhere, and they're rich investment bankers and energy companies. And we have to save paradise. We've now killed big wind on Molokai. The PLDC is going down in flames, which is marvelous. We have to get rid of the inter-island cable. We have to protect Lanai and Maui.
It's a topic which evokes a lot of passion, wind energy. Mike Bond is one of the more passionate people in Hawaii on the topic, and we'll have to have someone in also who is a supporter of wind energy as well. Thank you very much for joining us today, Mike Bond.
Thank you very much, Joe, and my best wishes to everyone at Silver Beach.
Thank you for tuning in here to Hawaii Snapshot. Aloha.